Hey guys, it's your boy Otaku Phil. Finally got the Beetle back up and running, so I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of an update. For those who don't know about the Beetle, this is I have a 1972 Beetle, and I'll show it here for you guys. So I bought this guy maybe about almost 5 years ago. It was running a stock motor, and then that caught on fire, so that was great. During that rebuild, I decided that I wanted to go with a bigger, faster motor. So instead of going with a built Volkswagen motor, I went ahead and did a Subaru Swap on her. So the first motor I had was from a 97 Impreza Outback. And that one lasted for about a year or so. And then the freaking head gasket went, drove it too far, and freaking ended up jacking up the bearings. So when we pulled that guy apart, pretty much everyone's just like the block was toast on it, and it was hard to find the block for the single overhead cam 2.2 EJ25 motor. So we decided to go with a 2.5 liter dual overhead cam motor. And so I pulled one of those from, I believe it was from a 97 Forester, and that one lasted for literally maybe like 6 months, and then the bearings went on that one. And I should have learned my lesson from the get-go, is I should have just freaking rebuilt it when I got it. Didn't do any of that. So I had to get a new block on that one, and we went ahead and rebuilt that block, rebuilt the entire engine, so it's got a brand new engine now. So right now it's got, from a 97 Forester, the 2.5 liter dual overhead cam motor. Alright, and we finally got that one rebuilt. I'll show you this one. Let's see if you guys can see it here. And there she goes. So right now she's making about, I think about 180, 170 horsepower. Maybe a little more, since we're running some mods on there, lightened her up. But she goes like a bat out of hell. She's a fun car. Get you some better light so you guys can see there. Like I said, we rebuilt this guy completely. And she's a fun car. She gets up and goes. I did have to cut the sides on these sides here and remove the back of the skirt here. So you see it goes all the way through in order to get it to fit. I will eventually put another little bracket to support the sides, because right now the sides are cut. But she's slowly coming together. I'll show you the front. So she's got, the piping running from the front to the back. And then the front. So this is a RX-7 dual core radiator. And it keeps it extremely cool. I'd say on a nice cool day, I live in Southern California, and on a nice cool day, she'll cruise and never get higher than 180. On a really hot day, she'll hop between 200, 210 at the top, at the most, and she'll shoot right back down to like 205. So I'd say about 205 on average. I got the slip there for my air. So I have it coming in from the front, and then the back is cut so that, and we have like a little piece of metal that angles the air so it goes down and below. Because we did a couple other little things. Got some new seats done. It's amazing how different a car, and so much better a car can be by just changing the seat covers. So we got the stock seat covers on there. I don't think they're leather. I think they're, what I call it, leatherette. With the basket weave or whatever. I need to get the carpet done. My dash here. So I just keep the tachometer, temperature gauge, and the voltmeter with the stock speedometer. I'll let you guys hear it here. And I got the fuel pump from a Volvo. It's a Bosch fuel pump from a turbo Volvo I got at like Picky Parts. So basically what it sounds like when it first warms up. The one thing is she idles a little low. I think I might have a vacuum leak somewhere. I gotta take care of. I gotta go through and make sure I take care of that. Otherwise, she'll idle between, I think, like 700 and 1,000 RPM. As you can see, she's pretty quiet. I had the fuel pump at front originally, and that got really loud, so I moved it to the back. So it's on the back underneath the wheel well there. You can still hear it a little bit, but it's not too bad. So it gets pretty quiet inside. You can hear it revved up on the inside. She's a beast. She's a beast, and she sounds like a souped up V8. Hold on, let's get you inside here. Goes. She's a beast. So that's my 1972 Beetle with a 1997 Subaru EJ25 dual overhead cam motor. Rebuilt. You know, if you were curious about how much I paid, if I had to equate it all, you know, I probably dropped a little under 10 grand into the car altogether. You know, I did the front disc brakes, the front and rear disc brake conversion. So that cost me about like $500 right there for the set with a new brake master cylinder. I ended up replacing the front and rear suspension with coilovers because I had the springs in the front, and then I wanted to get lower, but it was so expensive to get the lower springs, so I just went ahead and I took those out, and they sell like a coilover kit that you can put in there that works pretty well. The rear, you know, you don't really have to do too much to just lower that. I rewired the entire car. It's got new wiring, new glass all around, new seals all around. The motor, now the cool thing about the motor was I bought the car that it came from, and the issue was the guy had some issue with his radiator, and so his radiator was busted, and he had a leaking water pump, and so I guess he just decided to junk the whole car. So I ended up buying it from him, and I bought the Subaru Forester for $700, and you know, like I said, it turned on, but you know, it needed a new radiator, a new water pump, and all that good stuff. To build, now I had a friend of mine help me build it, but I bought all the parts. I got race bearings, new pistons. I got the the 6-star gasket set, and then I got the heads. I got the heads resurfaced, and I'd say altogether I spent maybe about $2,700 on the engine rebuild by itself. And that was, you know, because I decided to get a new block, so the block was the most expensive part. If I didn't get the block, that would have saved me like $700 right there, give or take. But altogether, the motor I spent about $2,700 on. On the wire harness, now I sent my wire harness to a company called Subi Stuff out in Marietta, California, and I had the guy there do the wiring harness for me because I tried to tackle it myself, but it was just going to be way too much time. So I ended up using the stock ECU, the stock wire harness, and if you use the stock ECU and wire harness, you have to use the mass airflow. And that ran me 500, and he wrapped it up real nice, made it super simple, labeled all the cables I need to connect to the original VW harness, and it was super easy. I hooked up the wiring myself, didn't have any issues there. Then the conversion kit itself, which was the bracket, the mounting bracket, and the flywheel, and then I went with the heavier duty clutch. That was like $700. So that was all part of the original cost. So I spent $2,700 for it. I spent about $1,700 for the rebuild, plus the kit, and then the extra $500. So if I were to put it all together to rebuild it, get the piping done, the radiator, I probably spent close to about $4,000, give or take. But that got me a brand new rebuilt motor, and radiator, custom piping, and all the bells and whistles, and it runs great. It's definitely worthwhile, because just to get 110 horsepower motor, I was getting quotes in like the $4,000 to $5,000 range to build a Volkswagen Beetle motor, which is fine and all. There's nothing wrong with that. But with this motor, I'm pulling close to 200 horsepower, and I got a brand new motor then, instead of just a rebuilt motor, or just a built Volkswagen motor. And I'm pulling practically twice the power. And right now I'm running the stock gearbox, but eventually, next check I get, I'm gonna try and maybe swap it out for a Pro Street. There's a company in I think Buena Park that all they do is do Volkswagen transmission rebuilds. There's also the big company, I think it's like Rhodes or whatever, or I can't remember the name of it. They also do rebuilds for the Subaru, for the Volkswagens, and those can run a little pricey. For just a freeway flyer, I can get that for about $1,000. But I'm gonna probably get like the Pro Street freeway flyer for the recommended for the Subaru Swap, and that's gonna run me about $1,600. That's just the transmission. Then I'll probably spend like another $400 or $500 just to get it swapped out, because I don't know any transmission stuff. I can't do that stuff myself. I don't have the room or the capability. So that'll be fun once I get that done. But otherwise, she pulls like a bat out of hell, and all together, like I said, with the rebuild motor and all that stuff and the swap, I got the Beetle for $600 non-running. So I probably spent close to about $7,000 to $8,000 on this car altogether. But I got a lot done, so eventually I'll get around to getting the body done. I primered it myself, but that's been primered for a minute. I'm gonna have to reprimer it, get it prepped, and then get it painted. I'm gonna go back to the original red Volkswagen factory red that I had on it, and once I get that done, she'll be a fun little car to have. So there's my my 72 Beetle, and I'll talk to you guys later. I'll keep you informed. If you're in LA and you want to go fly, hit me up. I go fly pretty much every weekend, and it's always fun to have some passengers and just to encourage other people to go fly. And if you have any questions, leave it down in the bottom and I'll try to answer them. Otherwise, you guys have a good one.